All right, y'all. Hey, what's up, good people? I'm QC. Welcome to another Talking and Grubbing live stream. How's everybody doing this evening? First off, this is a live stream of 2020. This is not just a whole new year, this is a whole new decade. I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Sorry for, I know I was supposed to be on here earlier with this live stream, but ran into some technical issues. I sincerely apologize to y'all. So, if you're still up, come on, join me here in this live stream. The NFL playoffs is finally here. 12 teams in the AF in the NFC are going to start competing this weekend to try to punch their ticket to Miami to play in Super Bowl 54. And this is wild card weekend. This is one of my favorite rounds of the playoffs because you just never know. Sometimes a team you don't rise out of nowhere, go on a deep run, and heck, might even win the Super Bowl, like the Giants in 2007. They were a wild card team. They were like the fifth seed in the NFC, but they rode it all the way to the Super Bowl by pulling off winning the Super Bowl, excuse me, by pulling off the upset against the 16-0 Patriots. The Giants, they had to win every playoff game on the road. They had no home field advantage whatsoever. Same with the Packers in 2010. They had no home field advantage. They were the sixth seed in the NFC. They won all their games on the road to reach the Super Bowl. And then they ended up winning the Super Bowl by knocking off the Steelers, who had won the Super Bowl a few years prior. Well, 2 years prior, excuse me. And speaking of the Steelers, back in 2005, they were a wild card team. They ended up winning the Super Bowl. They were like the fifth or sixth seed in the AFC. They had no home field advantage. They won all their games on the road, including win the AFC Championship game in Denver. They ultimately knocked off Matt Hasselbeck, Sean Alexander, and the Seattle Seahawks in Super Bowl 40. Also, there are also some division winners who play on wild card weekend and end up winning the Super Bowl. The Denver Broncos back in 97, they were a wild card team. Even though they won their division, they were still a wild team. They ultimately won the Super Bowl. Same with the Ravens in 2012. They were a wild card team too. Well, they played card weekend and they ended up winning the Super Bowl. So, how was everybody's new year? I hope your new year was good. Hope you had lots of fun. Got a chance to hang out with all your family and friends. My New Year's was great. Had a chance to just chill and stay in the house while a lot of these fools were out here shooting. Don't act like it's just my neighborhood. Y'all know, some of y'all know some fools in your neighborhood that like to shoot up on New Year's too. Also, as y'all coming into this live stream, make sure you hit the like button. Also, to my loyal subscribers, thank you for supporting me and just being with me. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Don't make it your last. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Make sure you click all so you don't miss any new videos from me. Especially the live streams, because I got a lot of live streams coming up in these next few weeks. I'm going to be live streaming a couple playoff games, starting with the wild card this weekend. I'm going to live stream the Vikings Saints game. I'm also going to live stream the Seahawks and Eagles game. And next week, I'll be live streaming the divisional games, the Baltimore game, the 49ers game. I'll be live streaming the national championship coming up the week after next. So you definitely want to subscribe subscribe to this. Excuse me. Also, you can donate to the channel via super chat. Whatever donations you give, I will greatly appreciate it. Also, you can shop at the official Talking and Grubbing store here on teespring.com. Gonna give you the link. I'm selling men and women t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, and more. So start off your new year right by hitting the Talking Grubbing store. And from now till January 31st, you can get 20% off your purchase by typing in the promo code TNGXmas, or you can get free shipping by typing in QC 2020. This live stream being late, but the live stream will definitely be on time tomorrow night. As I continue my wild card weekend preview, I'm flipping it to the NFC. Tonight, this is the AFC that I'm doing. And there's going to be some good matchups, and there's going to be some great matchups here, wild card weekend. And some good storylines. You know, you got the Tennessee Titans against all odds, made the playoffs under Mike Vrabel, you know, who's an upcoming, you know, head coach. Also, you got Carson Wentz. Even though his team, you know, are 9-7, he wants to prove that he can finally lead his team to a Super Bowl championship. Drew Brees, he wants to get another ring before he walks off into the sunset. Is this the end of the Tom Brady era in New England, or is Brady a step closer to retirement? Also, can Kirk Cousins finally have his moment as a Minnesota Viking and lead the Vikings in an upset over the Saints? Yes, we do. And I cannot wait to see them all. This wild card weekend is going to be fun. All right, let me give y'all the promo codes. Oops. Okay, there's the promo codes. All right. About to grub on some dinner here. About to grub on shells and cheese and chicken bacon wraps. Well, bacon wrapped chicken, excuse me. Oh, it's got bacon bits in it too. This is good. Somebody must have been reading my mind to fix this. And also another good storyline is the Buffalo Bills. You know, they're definitely one of the surprise teams of this season. You know, Josh Allen has definitely improved. Well, had a great second year. Stills respect. What's up, man? How you doing? Happy belated New Year. Thanks for joining me this late night. Also, get prize. Also, I'm about to send your prizes off very soon, so be on the lookout for them. Now, here's the first breakdown of excuse me. Here's the first wild card matchup preview. This is between the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. Now the Buffalo Bills, they were a great story during the regular season. As a as a matter of fact, they were one of the surprise teams of this season. No one thought the Bills would be here in the playoffs, but thanks to the great coaching job Sean McDermott has done, they are back in the playoffs for the second time within the last 3 years. 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions with an 85.3 QBR rating. And he also had a few rushing touchdowns that I forgot to add on. Now, he has a pretty nice receiving core despite these guys not being 6 feet, but they have had some pretty nice seasons. Steals respect says Adam Gates and the GM threw shade at Bell saying they are open to teams for a trade. Wow, that's some news. Steals respect. Maybe you might get your wish after all of Le'Veon coming back to Pittsburgh. Now, Josh Allen has had some pretty well, excuse me, the receiving core for the Bills, even though these guys aren't 6 feet, these guys have definitely had some pretty nice seasons, starting with the veteran John Brown, who finished the regular season with 1,060 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 72 receptions. Cole Beasley, the veteran, finished with 780 yards, 778 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 67 receptions. Now the Bills, they have a nice up and coming young running back in Devin Singletary, who's been pretty solid this year. He finished the season with 775 yards and 2 TDs while having 151 carries. And the Bills, they got a pretty nice O line that's anchored by the center Mitch Morse and the right guard John Feliciano. Now, for this, I decided to do my wild card in the wild card. For the Bills on offense, that wild card could be the veteran running back Frank Gore. Now, Frank Gore is in his 30s, but that man has had some pretty nice games this season. And he finished the regular season with only 599 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 161 carries. But if the Bills get him going early and often, then it could be a long day for that Houston Texans defense. So, although they're going to be keying in on Singletary, you definitely got to shut down Gore, because if you don't, he can still have a big game. Don't let the fact that he's 33, 34 fool you. But also the Bills, they have a pretty nice defense as well. Matter of fact, this Bills defense has been slept on all season. They're anchored by the veteran defensive end Trent Murphy, who finished with 24 tackles, 5 sacks, and 1 interception. Then Tre'Davious White, the cornerback, who I think is pretty underrated, finished the regular season with 48 tackles, 6 interceptions, and 2 forced fumbles. Then you got Jordan Phillips, the defensive tackle, who had 25 tackles, 9.5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. Now, I have my wild card on offense. This is my wild card on defense. My wild card on defense is the veteran Jordan Poyer. The safety, he had 71 tackles, 1 sack, 2 interceptions, and three forced fumbles during the regular season. The Bills, they're ranked third defensively, while they're ranked 24th. But, you know, the last few weeks of the season, the Bills offense has played lights out, especially that Thanksgiving win in Dallas. And also the Sunday night football win in Pittsburgh over the Steelers to clinch them the playoff berth. So this Bills offense has definitely gotten a little bit hot offensively in the last few weeks. All right, now let's switch it over to the Texans. You know, the Texans, they're the AFC South champs. And JJ Watt missed most of the season due to injury, but a lot of dudes have picked up the slack for him in his absence. But the Texans, their offense is on point as always, led by Deshaun Watson, finished with 3,852 yards, 26 touchdowns with 12 interceptions with a 98 QBR rating. You know, also his go-to guy, DeAndre Hopkins, who's one of the best wideouts in the NFL. He finished with 1,165 yards, 7 touchdowns, while having 104 receptions. But the thing that the people sleep on about the Texans is the running back core. The veteran Carlos Hyde, you know, he's been pretty good almost everywhere he's been the last few years. He finished with 1,070 rushing yards, 6 touchdowns, and 5 carries. Now, although Duke Johnson doesn't have the stats that Hyde has, he's a great third down back. So, you know, you definitely don't want to sleep on Duke on third down, because not only he can rush the ball, he can also catch the ball as well. He finished with 410 yards, 2 touchdowns, while having 83 carries. Also, Darren Fells, the tight end, has had a pretty nice season. Even though he only had 341 total yards, he has 7 touchdowns. So this is another favorite target of Deshaun Watson's. You know, so if the Bills defense go to sleep on him, then it's going to be a long day for him. Now, my wild card on offense are 2 people. Kenny Stills, who they acquired from the Dolphins, you know, early in the season. He had 561 yards and 4 touchdowns. And the other receiver, Will Fuller, who had 670 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, if those 2 get going, then it's going to be a very long day for that Bills defense. You definitely got to shut these 2 dudes down, you know, because I did my dinner Sunday night football game where they played the Patriots, and Darren Fells, Will Fuller, and Kenny Stills were all huge factors in that victory. They may not have the yards, but Deshaun Watson fouled them for some pretty big plays. As a matter of fact, Fuller and Fells both had a touchdown in that game. So they definitely don't want to go to sleep on, you know, these 2, because if they do, then that Bills defense has their work cut out for them. It's going to be a long afternoon. Now, onto the Texans defense. As I mentioned earlier, JJ Watt has been gone for most of the season due to injury, but a lot of guys stepped up in his place, like the linebacker Whitney Marsalis, who had 33 tackles, 7.5 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 4 forced fumbles. The cornerback, Bradley Roby, had 35 tackles, 1 sack, 2 picks, and 1 forced fumble. The veteran also had 43 tackles, as well as an interception, and the defensive end DJ Reader finished with 38 tackles and 2.5 sacks, So, although JJ Watt has been sorely missed, these guys have been the leaders on defense while in his absence, and you know they can definitely get to the quarterback. They can get pressure. They can also force turnovers as well. So, you know, it would behoove Josh Allen to be quick on offense, you know, get the ball out as quick as he can. So the defense won't sit on him and also push that offensive line. Now, the wild card here on defense is JJ Watt. Yes, it's been announced that he's coming back for the playoffs. So, we're going to see how fresh JJ Watt is. So if he could get a few sacks on Josh Allen, then the Houston Texans defense have a pretty good chance to shut him down. Now, the Texans, they finished 28th in total defense during the regular season while being 13th in total offense. Man, this is going to be a pretty good game. You got two young QBs going at it. You also got some young players on the defense for the Bills, but you also got some vets on the Texans. Now, we all know a lot of the Texans seasons over the past few years have ended in total disappointment, either being beat on wild card weekend or being beat in the divisional round. Excuse me. So, man, this is going to be a great game. You got you have some pretty good offenses. Like I said, the Bills' offense has been hot these last few weeks. You got a great offense here in Houston. This game may come down to the wire. And if it does come down to the wire, I actually trust the Bills. I trust Josh Allen and that defense to get it done. So I'm going to go with the Bills here on Wild Card Weekend to get the upset in Houston. Who you got for this? Who you got for Bills in Texas? Let me know in the chat. I see some people here joining the live stream. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Also, I want your thoughts on these two AFC wild card matchups. Who you think will win? Who you think will move on to the AFC divisional round to face Baltimore and Kansas City? So, who do y'all got for the Texans for the Bills and Texans? Who you got? Like I said, I'm going with the Bills to pull off the upset because I like their defense. Also JJ Watt, we don't know, how rusty he's going to be from that injury. And also, I think Sean McDermott is definitely going to have this team ready, prepared, and motivated. I definitely like the coaching job he's done. As a matter of fact, in my opinion, he should have some votes for Coach of the Year. If he doesn't get any votes for Coach of the Year, then something's wrong. Because that man did a hell of a job during the regular season. Like I said, nobody thought he would have this team in this position. So just for that alone, he deserves some Coach of the Year nods. About to get some more of this din because I'm hungry. I can cut some of this chicken, this bacon wrap chicken, because it's looking good. Right? We'll get the part with the bacon. There we go. FJ, what's up, man? How you doing? Thanks for joining me. Happy New Year. You said the Bills beating Houston is not an upset. Why do you feel that? Why do you feel that way, FJ? Get on to the next game. All right. But yeah, for some reason, the main reason why I'm picking the Bills over the Texans is because for some reason, I don't trust Bill O'Brien in the playoffs. It seems like just about every time he gets to the playoffs, he gets out coached. I mean, look at last year against the Colts. This dude got out coached by a rookie and Frank Wright, a first year head coach. He gets out coached by him. So that's another reason why I'm picking the Bills to beat the Texans. I don't trust Bill O'Brien. And plus, since they gave him GM duties, he did a pretty bad job on the Jadeveon Clowney trade. The Seahawks fleeced them. He should have given more for Jadeveon Clowney. So I just don't trust his coaching when it comes to playoff time. What do y'all think about Bill O'Brien? I see y'all coming here to the live stream. Make sure you hit the like button. KFJ, you said D Watson and D Hop is carrying that team, and agree with you about Bill O'Brien. Definitely. Bill O'Brien gets out coached just about every time he gets to the playoffs. For some doggone reason, he gets out coached. Whether it's Bill Belichick or any other coach, that man gets out coached. And that's just jacked up. And the crazy part about it is he's about one of the few coaches from the Belichick tree to make the playoffs. That's another ironic thing. Well, to make it consistently, excuse me. So, why should this postseason be any different for Bill O'Brien? All right. About to get into the next AFC wild card game. And this is the the Saturday night matchup, excuse me, between the Tennessee Titans and the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. Now, coming into these playoffs, the Patriots basically limped into the playoffs, although they won the AFC East once again, but they've definitely limped into the playoffs. They have not played their best football these last few weeks, especially in the month of December. I mean, they've had some crucial losses. They lost their final game at home to the Miami Dolphins on a last-second field goal, which knocked them out of the second round bye and gave that to the Chiefs because they won their last game against the Chargers. So the Patriots have just looked off all season long, especially on offense. Now the questions are swirling around. Is this Tom Brady's last season in New England, or is Tom Brady a few steps closer to retirement? Is the dynasty in New England finally over? Well, all those questions are going to be sorted out this weekend, but definitely got to show some love to the Titans because, man, the Titans, against all odds, they fought, they scratched and competed, and now they're here in this position. Excuse me. Definitely have to give a lot of love to head coach Mike Vrabel, excuse me. Who, as all y'all know, played for Belichick in New England for most of his career. He won 3 Super Bowls under the man. Then he left. Then after he retired, he was at Ohio State for a minute under Urban Meyer. Then he went to the Houston Texans for a while under Bill O'Brien. Then he finally got his opportunity to be a head coach with the Titans. And just about every year that he's been the head coach, the Titans have been a very competitive, scrappy team. I mean, they fell short a few seasons of making the playoffs, but this year they finally broke through and now they're here. And that's all thanks to Ryan Tannehill, who came in after Vrabel benched Marcus Mariota earlier in the season. And Tannehill, man, this dude has found the fountain of youth. He's had a second win, boy, because he finished with 2,742 yards, 22 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions with a 117.5 QBR rating. Man, heck, this shoot. I know maybe a lot of people may sleep on this, but if I were a voter, I would definitely give Tannehill some MVP votes based on what he's done with this team. Ever since when he took over as the starting QB, I noticed. Well, the Titans games that I watched, they played with a whole different swag under Tannehill that they didn't have with Mariota. KFJ, you said I can't see the Pats losing 2 straight games at home. If they stop Derrick Henry, they should be fine. Yeah, but you never know. You also gotta shut down Tannehill because Tannehill can get to the because you never know. In the playoffs, anybody can get hot. Some guys you may not expect to get hot might have their biggest game against you. So it's not just Derrick Henry. They also got to shut down the wide receivers. These Titans receivers are pretty good too now. Can't sleep on them either. And I'm about to go to the wide. Well, I'm about to go to Derrick Henry because Derrick Henry. He's another reason why the Titans are in the playoffs. And man, this dude has been a straight workhorse. He finished the regular season number 1 in rushing with 1,540 rushing yards, 16 touchdowns with 303 carries, excuse me. Like I said, this man has been a workhorse for the Titans, and he's one of the main reasons why the Titans are here in this position this weekend. You know, he's one of the best running backs in the NFL. As a matter of fact, I think he's one of the most underrated runners in the NFL. Derrick Henry really doesn't get his shine like he should, in my opinion. He should definitely get a lot more shine than what he does. I don't figure it out. I can't figure out why this man is not a star here in the NFL. But that's another discussion for another time. Now, the Titans wide receiving core is more wide receiver by committee. Now, these dudes have had some pretty solid numbers, but they're not that breakaway wide receiver. No, they're not like your your Michael Thomas, your Odell Beckhams. But these dudes still are pretty good. Adam Humphries, Tajay Sharp, and Corey Davis. They finished with 1,304 receiving yards combined and had 8 touchdowns combined during the regular season. So, any of these cats can have a big game. So the Patriots secondary has definitely have to account for them. They cannot sleep on these receivers because if you let one loose and break out, they can definitely hurt you. Also, the Titans, their offensive line is underrated as well. I don't think that offensive line gets enough credit as is anchored by the veteran left tackle Taylor Lewan and the right tackle Jack Conklin, excuse me. Now, my wild card for this Titan offense is the tight end Jonnu Smith. He finished the regular season with 439 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, if Tannehill can definitely find him for a few big catches and even a touchdown or two, then the Titans definitely will have a great chance to win this game. FJ, you said I forgot AJ Brown. Well, I didn't mean to. Charge it to my head, not to my heart, man. Letting everybody know on social media. I'm live right now. No, but seriously, FJ, thanks for reminding me about AJ Brown. That's another dude you definitely can't sleep on for the Titans. Definitely can't sleep on that man because man, he's quietly has had a hell of a season. With 1,061 yards and 8 touchdowns. Man, so yeah. Thanks for reminding me, FJ. This AJ Brown dude is sneaky good. So man, you definitely don't want to mess with a dude that's sneaky. So that's another wide receiver they have to contain. So the Titans, their wide receiving core has been pretty slept on by a lot of people. You cannot underestimate these dudes. Now, let's flip it over to the Titans defense. They have a pretty good defense. It's anchored by the veteran defensive tackle Jarrell Casey. He finished with 26 tackles, 5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. Also, you got the linebacker Camille Carrera, who finished with 27 tackles and 5 sacks. Then you got the other linebacker, Harold Landry III, who finished with 43 tackles, 9 sacks, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble. The cornerback Logan Ryan with 73 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 4 interceptions, and 4 forced fumbles. Now, the wild card here for the Titans on defense is the veteran free safety Kevin Bayard, who has 60 tackles and 5 interceptions. If he could definitely be a big factor in slowing down the excuse me, the Patriots receivers. No matter of fact, if that whole Titan secondary can be a factor by slowing down, you know, Patriots receivers like Julian Edelman and Phil Dorsett, then the Titans definitely have a chance to win this game because they will definitely have contained Tom Brady's top weapons. Now, the Titans finished 21st in total defense while finishing 12th in total offense, but this team has gotten hot at the right time. So once again, you do not want to sleep on the Tennessee Titans if you're the Patriots. And if you're a Patriots fan, definitely don't want to sleep on these Tennessee Titans. Because if you do, Ryan Tannehill will definitely make the Patriots night miserable. And the Patriots will be going home in Foxborough. Now, on to the Patriots. Now, the Patriots, they have not looked pretty sound or hot all year long, especially on offense. A lot of the games I've seen, with the Patriots, man, their offense has just been pretty much either non-existent or straight up garbage. Their offense has just been terrible. It's like there's no fluidity, no continuity, no identity, no anything. It's just like me and you just playing pick up football in the middle of the street or something. That's how bad the Patriots offense has been, in my opinion. Especially compared to last year when they won the Super Bowl. The main reason why the Patriots have had struggles on offense is they did not find a pretty good replacement for Rob Gronkowski after he retired. That should have definitely been on Bill Belichick's agenda, finding a pretty solid replacement for Gronkowski. Now, you're not going to find a superstar tight end like Gronk, but at least you could have found a solid replacement for him. Even though the Patriots offense has sputtered for much of the season, Tom Brady still finished with 4,057 yards, 24 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions with an 88 QBR rating. Julian Edelman you know, pretty good wide receiver, star wide receiver. Finished with excuse me, 1,117 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns while having 100 receptions. Now, the other wide receiver, Phil Dorsett, he's had a pretty solid season with 397 yards and 5 touchdowns while only having 39 receptions. And also the running back, Sony Michel, who definitely came on last year during the playoffs. Matter of fact, he had some real big games in the playoffs, especially in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. And he scored the game-winning touchdown, well, the go-ahead touchdown, excuse me, in the Super Bowl. He finished with 912 yards, 7 touchdowns while having 247 carries. Now that man, I think Sony Michel has definitely been slept on. I don't think he gets his just due. And also, why the Patriots didn't try to feature him more in the offense during the season? If they, in my opinion, if they would have opened up the running game a little bit more, the Patriots offense would have been better. And also, Sony Michel, you know, would have had 1,000 yards. And this man is 1,000 yard rusher, but it's like Belichick is holding him back for some reason. The hoodie needs to feature Sony Michel more in the offense in these playoffs. They definitely need to get him more touches. That's my take on Michel. Now, I have 2 wild cards for the Patriots on offense. And both of these dudes have had some big playoff moments. First one is James White. Now, a few years ago in the Super Bowl against the Falcons, on the comeback from the 28-3 deficit, James White had some big key moments. He had over 100 yards rushing, and he had about 3 touchdowns, including the game-winning touchdown in overtime to win the Patriots the Super Bowl. Now, he hasn't had good numbers this year. He finished with 263 yards and a touchdown, but in the playoffs, this man can definitely have some big moments. As a matter of fact, he had a very big game last year in the AFC divisional game. So you definitely don't want to sleep on James White in the playoffs. And the other running back, Russ Burkhead, he had a pretty big game in the AFC Championship game last against the Kansas City Chiefs. As a matter of fact, he scored the game-winning touchdown in overtime to send the Patriots to the Super Bowl. And despite the fact that he only finished with 302 yards and 3 touchdowns, he was limited due to injuries. Russ Burkhead, if he's healthy, he could definitely have a huge game here against the Titans. Now, the Patriots defense has carried this team. This has been a very elite defense. Matter of fact, this, in my opinion, this has been their most elite defense since they won their first 3 Super Bowls with dudes like Willie McGinnis, Rodney Harrison, and all those cats. And they're anchored by Jamie Collins, who's had a hell of a bounce back year with 58 tackles. The linebacker has 7 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 3 forced fumbles. Then the other linebacker, Dante Hightower, he finished with 47 tackles and 5.5 sacks. Kyle Van Noy, the other linebacker, whose name a lot of people doesn't really know. He finished with 46 tackles, 6.5 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. Devin McCourty, part of that dangerous McCourty twin duo. The defensive back finished with 46 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, and 5 interceptions. Stephon Gilmore, one of the best corners in the game, finished with 44 tackles and 6 interceptions. Now, if you're Ryan Tannehill, you definitely have to be careful throwing in Stephon Gilmore's direction because that man is a ball hawk. It's like he sees ball, gets ball. And that was definitely proven in the Super Bowl when he intercepted Jared Goff at the goal line, near the goal line. So definitely got to pick your spots when, you're throwing in Stephon Gilmore's direction because if Tannehill throws any picks, in his direction, then that's definitely going to stall the Titans offense, and it could be a long day for Ryan Tannehill. Now, my wild card for Patriots defense is another dude that a lot of people doesn't know about or hear his name called too much, but that's the defensive end, John Simon. During the regular season, he finished with 28 tackles, 4 sacks, one forced fumble, and one interception. Now, if he could become a factor in this game, then he could definitely help the Patriots front line get more pressure on Tannehill, also bully that offensive line, maybe even get open and get some sacks on Tannehill. But like I said, this Patriots defense has been nasty. It's elite, it's physical, it's punishing, and they do not play. Matter of fact, they've been as the number one defense in the NFL in the regular season while finishing 15th in total offense. Now, this is another matchup I'm excited for. You got Bill Belichick going against one of his former players that's now a head coach. This is teacher versus student, old lion versus young lion. Mike Vrabel's trying to come up, definitely trying to come up and trying to stake his claim as a head coach. He definitely wants to prove that by beating his mentor. Case Stills respect. You feel the Chiefs or Patriots will beat the Ravens? Oh wow, that's interesting. I mean, you never know because, as a matter of fact, the winner of this game does play the. Well, let me check to be sure. I want to check to be sure. I think the winner of this wild card game this weekend plays the Ravens next week. Let me just be sure. Just want to be sure. But yep, Mike Vrabel definitely wants to get his respect, wants to make a name for himself as a head coach by knocking off the New England Patriots dynasty, the dynasty he helped build, by winning their first three Super Bowls, and also beating his former coach and mentor and Bill Belichick. And that would be very interesting. Well, that would be one hell of a thing if Mike Vrabel went to Foxborough and dethroned the defending champs, and he took down the dynasty he helped build with Belichick and Brady. That would even be a bigger story. But I think this is going to be a very physical game. It's going to be a very punishing game. You got a physical running back in Derrick Henry. You got a very fit. Both defenses are very physical. Smash mouth. Mike Vrabel definitely took that. Very physical, nasty defense that Romeo Cornell implemented. In New England in their first three Super Bowls, and has brought it to the Titans. Stills respect. I don't know. I don't know if if Sam Darnold is a good quarterback because he's had too many injuries these last few seasons. So I can't really say if he's a good quarterback or not. The next season will definitely tell what Sam Darnold is going to be. So, in my opinion, the jury is still out on Sam Darnold. Patriots and Titans, they go to play the Chiefs. The win. Excuse me. Okay, the winner of the Bills and Texans game this weekend, they go to Baltimore to play the Ravens, And the winner of the Titans and Patriots game this weekend, they go to play the Chiefs. Yeah, Stills respect. I've heard about that rumor about Josh McDaniels being interested in the Browns coaching job. As a matter of fact, I think they're going to be interviewing him within the next few days. They've already interviewed Mike McCarthy and Kevin Stefani, the offensive coordinator for the Vikings. No, wait a minute. They haven't interviewed Kevin Stefani yet. They've already interviewed Mike McCarthy. They're going to interview Kevin Stefani soon. But yeah, I heard that Josh McDaniels is interested in the Browns coaching job. So I think they're going to be talking to him within the next week or so. But back to my point, this game is going to be a very physical game. It's going to be a punishing game. This is going to be not a white knuckle, drag out, grind out, old school playoff game. Both you have both teams are physical, especially in the running game and the defense. It's going to be a fun one. Like I said, you got the storylines here. You got Mike Vrabel going up against his old coach, teacher versus student, old lion versus young lion. One coach is trying to extend on his legacy, while another coach is trying to build his legacy. So it's going to be a fun one. At first, looking at this game, this was a tough one to predict because, like I said, I know it's going to get physical. It's going to get ugly. Both defenses, they could get after the quarterback. And also, they both have some pretty nice secondaries who can get some picks and turnovers. So I think this could be a close game. But I'm going to go with the Titans here to pull off the upset in Foxborough. I think Mike Vrabel gets it done. This team has played motivated, hungry, and they definitely have a different swag since Ryan Tannehill took over as QB. So I think Mike Vrabel goes into Foxborough and knocks off his mentor and basically takes down the dynasty he helped build. So I'm going with the Titans. So, in the AFC, I got both road teams winning. What say you? Who do y'all got? Who you got winning this game between the Titans and Patriots? Okay, FJ, you asked me which coach do I think has the most to prove in the AFC wild card? It's got to be Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien has come up short too many times in the playoffs. Like I said, the Texans seasons have either ended in the wild card game or the divisional round. So Bill O'Brien has the most to prove out of any of them. Even though Sean McDermott and Mike Vrabel have not won playoff games, but Bill O'Brien has been to the playoffs, like 4 or 5 years in a row, and the Texans have been eliminated each time. Come on. They definitely have something to prove. Okay, Stills respect, you going with the Patriots. Also, you said AB took a shot at the Saints and the coach a few days ago. What did AB say about Sean Payton? And what did he say about the Saints also? I heard that he ignored their rules about bringing his entourage to the workout. But what did he say? Steals respect. What did AB say? Let me get this next piece of this bacon wrapped chicken. Man, AB's just been taking shots at everybody, man. Dude took a shot at Juju Smith-Schuster. Call him Boo Boo Schuster. That's cold. I'm like, AB, dude, you need a life. Okay, he brought a camera crew to his workout. Okay, he accused the Saints of pulling a publicity stunt. Like, AB, dude, they giving you a chance to they trying to give you a chance to work you out. Wow. Yep, yeah, I see that AB called out Sean Payton and the Saints for a publicity stunt for the workout. Wow. And FJ, you said AB is a grown ass kid. But man, AB, man, come on. AB kind of like AB, come on, man. And that's messed up. AB's too talented of a receiver not to have a job. But come on, man. You first you were forcing trades out of Pittsburgh, then you got yourself cut from Oakland, then got cut by the Patriots, which in my opinion, he didn't deserve. I don't think AB should have been cut by the Pats. I mean, come on, they've covered up for players who've done worse than AB. But I digress. Okay, yeah, Steelers respect. I saw that. I read that. He said that the Saints workout was a publicity stunt. And you also said he said Sean Payton and said Sean Payton now you know how it feels to be left behind. Wow. Man, AB, man, I hope AB gets it together. Cause like I said, he's too talented of a wide receiver to not have a job. That man's way too talented not to have a job. Come on. In my opinion, if the Patriots wouldn't have let him go, that offense would be a hell of a lot better than what it is right now. A whole lot better. Come on, Bacon. Work with me. There we go. Yep, but AB is just too daggone talented not to have a job. So I definitely hope that man lands on his feet very soon with a team. Because and also, yeah, still respect. I definitely agree. Juju definitely has to get better next year. Definitely. He definitely has to improve. But anyways, y'all, I gotta get out of here. You know, I appreciate y'all coming with me on here this late for the tomorrow night. I'll be back with my NFC wildcard preview, breaking down the matchups for wildcard weekend in the NFC. You know, we got the Vikings and the Saints, as well as the Seahawks and the Eagles. Both games are going to be some pretty good games. You know, you got some great quarterback play. You got a lot of talent. So I'm going to break all those matchups down and give you my prediction on who I think will move on. You know, you can donate to the channel via PayPal or Cash App. I left the Cash App cash tag and the PayPal link up top in the chat. Also, you can shop for official Talking and Grubbing merchandise at the Teespring store. That link is up top as well. You know, you can also get 20% off your merchandise. Also, you can get free shipping. Well, or you can get free shipping, excuse me. And those promo codes are active until January. Teespring store. I've got t-shirts for men and women, hoodies, coffee mugs, and more. So check out the Teespring store. I gotta get out of here, y'all. You know, I got some things to do, work on a couple videos. I'll see y'all here again tomorrow night. Y'all have a good one. Love y'all to life. QC out. Y'all